Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to another edition of On the Mark, Straight Talk Across the Narrows. I am Troy Libert and I will be your host this evening for 2 hours of uninterrupted talk radio. Of course, this is an opportunity for you, the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, and those in the diaspora, of course, to converse with us about anything and everything that is of substance happening here within the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, and more specifically here on the island of Nevis. It's a wonderful evening tonight. Of course, you can see I'm in my red because I just came from the Charlestown Secondary School sports, and I have a daughter at Charlestown Secondary School. She's on red. She didn't really do much athletically, but I went out to show my support in solidarity with Red House. I got the results. Of course, Red House did not win, but we're supporting all of the children. Of course, you know, it's sports season here on Nevis. Nevis is a place that loves track and field. I love track and field, so I'm hoping to see everybody out at all of the school sports. A little later on, I'll give a rundown on when these sports are going to be happening, but I'm so excited that we're at the start of the whole sports term and the school sports have started already. I know the usual people who are at the park. I saw quite a lot of them this afternoon, and so we're going to have a grand time as usual with sports here on Nevis. Of course, at the top of the show, I always like to welcome in all those who are listening to the show, because I know that it's Wednesday evening, it's prime time, and you know, you could be doing anything. And I really appreciate the fact that so many of you take the time out to turn the radio on, turn on the computer, turn on the phone. I mean, this is modern times, so I know a lot of you are on the phone. We can't get the phone out of our hand, but whatever device you are listening or watching us on, you know, we really appreciate the fact that you take the time out to listen, you take the time out to watch. And for those who would normally call in, you know, it's a call-in show, so you make the show, and we really appreciate the fact that you take the time to call in and to share your views or to comment on some of the things that we are putting on the table here at the show. We really appreciate you. On the Mark is what it is, going as strong as it has been going because of all of you. Of course, the show's regular hosts, Premier Mark Brantley, he had to take a break this evening, so I'm here. You know, we do that from time to time, and I know Mark likes to come and interact with the general public, but you know, it's difficult to be able to get up and come every single week. Things come up. Sometimes you have to do other things. Sometimes you're a little bit under the weather. You can't make it every single week, but we have a really good team. You know, sometimes I can come, sometimes Eric can come, sometimes Alexis can come, so it's a strong team. We have a good batting lineup, and here at On the Mark, you know, we want to always be here to be with the public, to interact with the public, to talk to the public. So, you know, when one can't make it, it's next man up. So wonderful to be with you here this evening. You know, I haven't been here for the year actually, so I have a lot to talk about, and you all know that 2 hours is not enough to talk when you have a lot to talk about. And then, you know, we have our callers. We won't keep them out, but certainly I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to be in 2025. So I want to welcome you all from wherever you are listening and viewing. If you are following on 860, you know, we are at Van Radio, and Van Radio is the powerhouse, 860 on the AM dial. Or if you are watching us on YouTube at Van Radio's YouTube page, or on Facebook at Van Radio's Facebook page, we're very happy to have you. Also, at the top of the show, we like to send out birthday greetings to all who are celebrating. It's February, I know quite a lot of people who were born in February. I only have one birth sister, and she was born in February. So February is a good time. And my second daughter was also born in February. So I want to send out birthday greetings to all of the February born people. You know, you're born way up in the year. So birthday greetings to all of you who are celebrating. And of course, you know, while some persons are celebrating, the other persons who have cause to grieve. And so I want to send out condolences to all of the families who are grieving at this point in time. I'm going to mention a few names, but of course, sometimes we don't get all of the names. So if there's somebody who I don't mention, it's probably because I don't have the information as yet. It's not intentional. So I want to send out condolences to the family of Mr. Robert Clark of Barnsgut. I think he's affectionately known as Bit. I know of him because the Premier always talks about him going to the backyard and having that good backyard fish on a Saturday morning. Many times I would call the Premier, what are you up to? He would say, man, I'm buying Bit. Take a swing around here. So condolences going out to the family of Bit, Mr. Robert Clark. I also want to send out condolences to the family of Miss Sharon Hamilton from Hard Times in Gingerland. Sharon is somebody who I know very well, and I've known her for a long time. I want to send special condolences to her daughter, who teaches at CSS, and to her son Nick. I think Nick is a well-known guy around Nevis. I think more people would probably know him as Disil. So I want to send out condolences to both of them. Sharon was a very good friend of my mother's, so she's somebody who I know, and she would have also worked at the Cicely Brown Integrated School, and as the Minister of Education I would have, you know, had the opportunity to work with her. So I want to send out condolences on behalf of my ministry. Also, she was somebody who, you know, was a very kind-hearted person. Certainly whenever she saw me, she always had some words of, you know, encouragement for me. And so certainly she's going to be missed. Her funeral service is scheduled for the 19th of February. That's Wednesday the 19th, and tributes will start at 1:30. I also want to send condolences to the family of Mr. Christian John Arterton. And John, as I think everybody in Navy should know who John Arterton is. I did not know that his first name was Christian. Everybody in Nevis hides their first name. Because I'm in politics, most people get to know my first name. I've never gone around using my first name except for people who know me from school, because you know you got to use it when you're in school. But outside of that, and for official duties in politics, everybody just know me as Troy, which is my second name. So John is somebody who is well known in Nevis. He's a fixture in Nevis. He's by the courthouse, and so once you pass through there, you're bound to come into contact with John. John is a very nice person, very helpful, and so on. I want to send condolences to his wife, Mentris, to his mother, to his children, and to the rest of his family. And another thing that I don't think that people know, John is my cousin, a very close cousin of mine. You know, he's an older cousin, and I would have gotten to know John when I was just a small little boy. So I've known John pretty much all of my life, and very good person. And to see John pass, at this time, it is something that hit me hard too. It's even kind of difficult talking about it right now, considering that he's somebody who I have known for so long. One of my bigger cousins. You ever had I'm sure everybody has had like a bigger cousin. So when you're young and you're walking fast through town, or you're doing anything that's a little bit out of the way, you hear somebody say, "Hey, what you doing there?" So John was one of those kind of cousins for me. So I want to send out condolences to the entire family, and I know that a lot of us are grieving his loss. John's funeral is going to be on the 28th of February. That's Friday the 28th of February, and it's going to be at the St. Paul's Anglican Church. May his soul rest in peace. And also I want to send out condolences to anybody else who is suffering at this time. My prayers are with you, and all of us, our prayers are with you. So as a small community, we got to kind of stick with one another, especially when things are hard, when we know that our neighbors and our friends are suffering. We got to go and look for them, because you never know when it's going to be your turn, and you're going to need a kind word from somebody or a helping hand or something like that. So it's always good to come together. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to On the Mark. That was my little opening. I have with me in the studio tonight two very beautiful young ladies, and two very accomplished persons in their own right. I'm going to give them an opportunity now to introduce themselves to you, but they're coming to us from the health promotion unit here on Nevis. And once you hear health promotion or anything to do with health, it's time to stiffen up and listen, because it's something serious. And so I want to welcome Ms. Chevenin Nisbet and Ms. Michelle Sutton to On the Mark and to the studios of Vaughan Radio. Good evening, ladies, and welcome.
Good evening, Troy, and thank you for having us.
Good evening as well. Thank you for having us.
Wonderful. So tell us, why are you here this evening?
All right, so we are here this evening to talk about a few activities that we're going to be having for the first quarter of the year. We could put it like that. And the first one will be our annual World Obesity Day Relay. We dub it a Fun Run in the Sun. And that's going to be taking place on the 7th of March, 2025. So that's in about 3 weeks' time. It starts at 2 p.m. And the relay, I'm here tonight to encourage persons to form a team of 5 and join the relay. But I'm going to talk a little bit about the relay first. So the relay, World Obesity Day, falls on the 4th of March every year. And the purpose of that day is to bring awareness to obesity and the impact it has on our healthcare systems, on individuals itself, and that obesity is something that we should try to prevent, control, treat. And of course, one of the ways you always hear us talk about how to control and treat obesity and any illness, to prevent it, is by being a healthy individual overall. And that is inclusive of a good diet, a balanced diet, eating lots of greens and vegetables and greens, vegetables and fruits, inclusive of those, as well as drinking lots of water, lowering the amount of sugary beverages you drink and anything that's too sweet, getting your screenings done, and of course being active. And I can be honest and say that the Nevisian public isn't as active as they should be, because we always see our numbers and we could look around and see persons are getting bigger and bigger, to put it that way. to put it that way, right? And it's not a good thing, especially if you can tell, you can watch yourself and know you're overweight. The doctor will tell you that you're overweight, your clothes are fitting way too tight, that kind of thing. And it not only has a physical impact on you, but it has an impact on your health. And so days like World Obesity, they were created to bring awareness to obesity and the impact it has on health. And so we usually try to do activities for certain, health days on not only the PAHO calendar, but some of the other calendars that we follow, and those that are basically impacting us in Nevis, because it's not everything that we try to take part in, but most of the stuff that actually affect us here in the Federation. And in Nevis, we try to think. So for obesity, what we wanted to do, a few years ago we wanted to do something that would encourage persons to be active. And so we wanted to do something that, kind of make you realize, boy, I need to start doing something, even if it's just a walk down the road and that kind of thing, to start doing something. And so I came up with this idea, why don't we do a relay? Because so the first year we did the relay, I think it was 2021, and that's when we came off of COVID, and sports wasn't really back out like that. We were still kind of taking our time to ease back into a lot of the things that we were doing, that meant a crowd would be gathered. And so I came up with this idea. I threw it out to the team, and we came up with this idea where we do a relay, and I was targeting the working population, because we were already doing stuff with the children. We always target the older person, but I wanted the working population to get up and get moving. And so at first it was geared towards departments and businesses, where we wanted them to form a team of 5 and we do a relay through town. The first, it's always been a good relay for persons who've experienced it by either watching it or taking part in the team. It's a good relay. It happens really fast and it's really fun. It's through the streets of Charlestown. So the legs, we have 5 legs, and I'm gonna talk about the legs because I really want persons to join a team, right? So the first leg is from Best Buy. This is in the streets. Best Buy to the police station, the Charlestown police station. The second leg is from Charlestown police station to the courthouse or the library, the old library. And then from there you have a leg from the library to in front the iron shed. So that would be for the persons who don't know it as the iron shed, that's the entrance to the pier. Right, you hand off the button there, that the other leg goes from there, go straight down the Samuel Huntington, and you turn up the Octagon Road and you hand off to the top of that road. And then the last leg is from the top of the Octagon Road, go all the way back to the same Daniel bust. So the legs are not very long, they're very short. It's a sprint relay, and it doesn't need athletes, like the top tier athletes, to take part in it, but it's something fun. And as a Vision public, we're very competitive, and especially when it comes to sports. So I always tell them, don't make it a big competition, but I can't control that.
I just said that. I think I tried to go into this really.
You did
before, and I was ready to win actually, but the person who was bringing the stick to me came, kind of far behind, and I came through town. And I really thought that I was going fast, but a few people taped me, and when I look back at the tape, I realized I was going in slow motion. So I was only going fast in my mind. But I'm not deterred, because I think the important thing is to come out and to participate.
Yes.
So if I could find 4 willing souls who would want to go, and have me pull them back, I would be willing to, join in, because yes. I think this topic is a very important one, because, every day you're hearing that things like diabetes and
yes.
hypertension leading to cardiac issues and so on, that they are becoming more prevalent. I believe recently the Prime Minister would have said something to the effect that that heart failure is now one of the leading causes of death in St. Kitts and Nevis, and I think there's a direct correlation with obesity and so on, and that type of lifestyle where we're not, we're not moving around like
yes.
Years ago, when people had to wake up early in the morning and go to look after the animals and so on. Oddly enough, I was at a cross country this morning at St. Thomas's Primary, and I commented that people like me used to do very well in cross country, and we never used to have to go out and train because our training was looking after animals early in the morning and in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So that's how we got our training, and we did well in the longer races because you have to go walk far, and then you have to run behind the animals. So that was the training, and I had that conversation this morning. But the athletes, they performed really well, but you could see there's a big gap between those who are training and athletic and the other students who are there in school and spending more time on the tablets and so on in the afternoon. They're not going out and being active and so on. So you could see there's a big difference. In the past, even the athletes that were not so good, they were at least a little bit closer because everybody was active.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true. Yeah. So and I'm coming off of what you just said. It's called a sedentary lifestyle where we have people who just do not do any form of activity. And even if you think maybe in your 30s or so and leading up, it's not affecting you, it affects your health over a while and after a while. And so it's important to get up and get moving. And I always say you don't have to go from living that lifestyle to running 5 miles every day, but you could start doing something. You could even join the gym. You don't want to join the gym, you and a friend go walking and stuff, but it's important to stay active and keep moving, and then this leads up to preventing certain illnesses. So that's why we have the relay. The relay is just one of the activities we decided to do for World Obesity Day, and we are encouraging persons to join a team. We have a few teams who have signed up so far, but we have space for a bit more.
No police and no army, please. Put them in their own race.
Ooh, boy, they would have met the competition. Boy, listen.
I hope the police not listening to me. But they go out and they win.
Yes,
they win everybody because they're in shape.
Yeah,
last year Gingerland Secondary School is the one who won.
Oh, but Gingerland Secondary have some fast people,
and it's not the students, it's actually the staff and faculty.
Yeah, well, they have some
they do
fast people. They have what's his name there? Our top athlete who went to university, who's now in the band.
Oh Lord, I know what you mean.
He's like 10 athletes in one. So
yeah. So that is what we're doing. So I wanted to use this forum to encourage persons to sign up, and you can sign up for the relay by calling us at Health Promotion Unit. You could either call Government 4695521 and ask for the Health Promotion Unit or extension 6396 or 6393, or you could call the direct line 4698010, and either of the health educators will be willing to give you more details and to sign you up for the race. I want to take this opportunity to thank persons who have companies and persons who have always supported us over the years. We have a few teams that are there almost every year. You got the NEVLEC, you have the Armed Forces, Defense Force, then you have the police officers, they always join. And I want to say thank you to those persons who have always supported us in doing they make it happen.
Can I make a suggestion? Do a fast people race and then do a slow race.
But then how do you what is the pitch to get a slow race? What you're going to tell them? People who can't run?
Do the slow race first and then do the...
Yeah, but then what is your pitch to get people to join the slow race?
So I would think that people have to be real with themselves and know which race they can go in.
Competition? No,
but everybody is a winner.
I agree.
But we can win. We can win the other race.
The Division A, Division B.
And then we can go on the side and watch the police and the junior and secondary school coaches and so on come down the road and enjoy it. But if I have to be in the race with them, I'm not going to see any of the race because I'm going to be...
Oh, you see all of it from the back?
No, I'm going to be too far back to see the race. So
it's something to consider, but we have to look at to
enjoy.
You have to be careful because when we first started doing this, people were saying you need to have a people who actually obese race, and I'm just like, so how do I ask people who are obese to run. Like I'm gonna say, you look a little.
Well, come down and do a jog. I mean, that's what it's all about.
They're not gonna do it.
Yeah, I think. Or do a walk.
But we do have something coming up to complement the fun run in the sun. Remember, it's fun run in the sun, but it's become very competitive fun run in the sun, which is exciting at the same time.
Once people running is going to be competitive.
Exactly.
By nature.
In Nevis. I'm thinking. But I wanted to also to say that I did say that we first started by encouraging persons who are working. So like people, businesses, could put a team, departments in the government, units, etc. But we have expanded that to persons, so it could be like a community group, a group of friends, people who in the gym together. So it's not necessary that you work together. You can form a team. You can form a team, a truck.
Yeah.
Not necessarily.
So last year we had a young team of footballers.
Yes.
So
right. So we want persons to do that. To know that you could join a team without being attached to necessarily a business person.
Let me ask, would you be willing to field a few calls? It seems that one or two persons are looking to call in. So maybe we would be able to take a call. So let's see. So the numbers to call are 869-469-1616 1700. And if you're calling specifically to speak about, health promotion and so on, then we would be willing to take that call. Okay, let's go to the line. We have a caller. Caller, good night. You're on the mark.
Good night. What go on?
Good
Are
night.
you well?
Yes.
Yeah, man. Big up. Calling from Jamaica.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
But they look for some little things because I know that Jamaica, as a Caribbean country, has now third up in the corruption perception ranking in the English-speaking country. So, how you look at Jamaica from this point of view? Because we are a CARICOM nation.
I'm not getting the point. I'm here speaking with two lovely ladies from the health promotion, and so what we are fielding are calls to do with the topic that we are talking about right now. A bit later on in the show, I would say about 9 o'clock, I'm going to open up the show for general comments. Okay?
Oh, 9 o'clock for general comments.
For general comments. Right now, we are talking specifically to health promotion. Okay?
So I can participate in the health promotion?
Sure, you can participate in that.
Okay. Alright then, we are here to look at health promotion, and I am a citizen of Jamaica. I always talk to Mr. Brantley on your show. But outside of that, I always wanted to look at comparing countries from the CARICOM that has great motivation in terms of whatever era. But we are having difficulty in Jamaica in terms of the health system. Sometimes it is that patient has to wait long hours to get treatment. They have to sit and chair. They have to stay with drip. How it is in your country?
In St. Kitts and Nevis?
Yes, please.
Well, of course, we have our challenges, but we try to do the best that we can with the resources that we have. At this point in time, what we are trying to do is to encourage people to be proactive about their health. Try to live a healthy lifestyle, try to eat properly, try to move around more, and so on, to try to prevent some of these diseases from coming on. That's what we are looking at. We are looking at preventative methods.
Yeah. So in terms of condition, when we look at it, we see sometimes the Auditor General try to audit the books, and there are less accountability in terms of how the cash flow has spent. Sometimes you have to spend the cash and it does not have the requisite documents to transact where the cash has gone. Is it similar in your country?
Not to my knowledge, sir.
Okay.
Not to my knowledge.
Outside of that, we are now having a corner regional hospital in Montego Bay, St. James, Jamaica, and it has been refurbished for the...
Caller, we seem to... Oh.
Hello?
You were cutting out.
Okay, it has been refurbished for the last year, and it finds itself difficult, can't even get to finish over 8 years. We had spent over $21 billion to refurbish it, and it just can't reach nowhere. Hopefully another 3-4 year might reach somewhere still. I'll speak back to you, and when you have the wider topic outside of that later at 9.
All right, no problem, sir. You have a wonderful night.
Yes, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to On The Mark. I'm here with my two lovely guests from the Health Promotion Unit. Ladies, back over to you. We were talking about the fun run in the sun.
Yes.
So as I just joined the Health Promotion Unit, I was in education for many years. That's where people probably know me from more so, but I'm now with this team. Ultimately, always been physical and health education, and now that I joined this team, the Fun Run in the Sun, excellent opportunity for us to bring awareness to World Obesity Day. And Chevenet also had a program, Feet in the Street, trying to get, again, looking at the work, the office workers in particular, but the working population. One of the concerns we have in general when it comes to health is persons sitting for long periods of time. With modern technology and modern life, ultimately, we are sitting up to 11 hours a day. And people might think that sounds crazy, but it's reality. You go to work, you drive to work, that means you're sitting. You come out the car, you park very close to your office, and you go straight into your sitting job. You eat. Most times you might be walking to get your lunch, if that, or you just go heat up your lunch at the microwave, come back and sit down. Then you come home, finish up work at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, go in your car, sit down. And then when you reach home, you're going to be decompressed from the day of sitting down to sit down watching Netflix or Prime or Hulu or something, and on your phone watching TikTok videos. So ultimately, you actually add that up, you probably sitting for more than 11 hours a day. But ultimately, the statistics are showing that's when you mentioned about the younger children not as active, it's hitting them as well. Because many of them are being driven to school. And then when they go to school, they're sitting down. Then the children, now we don't have break time no more. We have snack time. They come to school, they snack to sit down and chat. So ultimately, what's the behavior that we're modeling as adults that's actually being seen in our children? So it's just a matter of this opportunity now with World Obesity Day. At Health Promotion Unit, we're looking at an initiative called Keep Active and Healthy. So all the activities that we do at Health Promotion, ultimately, many of them are looking at preventive measures or improving your healthy lifestyle. So starting the week of World Obesity Day, which is March 4th, the 3rd, was it the 3rd? Yeah, the 3rd, for that week, we have a quest coming up, which is a work time step quest, where we're asking persons using their phone, any kind of smart device, looking at clocking or getting as much as 2,000 steps a day. Because when you look at, again, the statistics, you'd be surprised that if you're an office worker or working indoors, you might be accumulating probably 500 steps in a day. And again, that is a sedentary lifestyle. Sedentary lifestyle, yes, it contributes to your physical ailments, but also you have to look at your mind and your body and your soul. Many times you look for break time to get a pick-me-up. They come into the office to get a coffee, that's a pick-me-up. Believe it or not, just walking around the block for 5 minutes or parking and walking, that 2-3 minutes parking your vehicle a certain distance, walking for that 2 minutes will actually boost your endorphins, give you that pickup that you don't need a coffee. At break time, you might go get a Coca-Cola, a coffee, or a sweet treat. Again, food does give you a certain lift because you know that. Ultimately, but what's the substitute? What's a healthy substitute? Again, it's going out for a quick walk or getting up in your office, going for a quick little stroll up and down the hallway. We also have a pamphlet at our office where it shows you how to do quick office exercises. So ultimately, this week we want to promote a step quest where you track your steps for 2,000 steps a day, and you submit it to us at the end of the week on the Monday, and that'll be an opportunity to enter into our Stay Active and Healthy initiative, where every time you participate in any of our activities, you get an opportunity to enter into our raffle. That was a lot of information.
Sounds wonderful. I wear a smartwatch and it tracks my steps every day. I have a goal set. It closes a ring when I
me too.
when I get to the number of steps that I'm supposed to.
Good.
And this is between the hours of 8 and 4. So we're looking at accumulating 2,000 at work time. As we say, we're targeting the working time. Because people are very much sitting down during that time.
So get up in the office for 1 minute and mark time.
Mark time, exactly, mark time, or go for a walk around the block. just getting up and just getting in those steps to help to improve your circulation, to boost your mood. The science is there to show you, as simple as 5 minutes, it can have significant contributions to your health.
Right.
Okay. Wonderful.
What are we doing on the 28th?
The 28th? Oh, yes, thank you. Before that, Friday the 28th, we're doing the parking walk, where persons come to park at the villa. If you're working in town, park at the villa between 7 a.m., 7:45, and 9 o'clock, and we'll be there giving you out a QR code, and you register that you park there, and ultimately enter into our raffle. But the parking walk initiative is a spin-off of Feet in the Street that we did. But again, just getting persons to think about healthy and active lifestyle, how those simple steps can actually contribute to your overall health.
Wonderful.
So that's February 28th.
Sounds good.
So, for the park and walk, right, it's voluntary.
Yes.
But we are expecting persons to join and be active. What we want is to see most of the persons, especially those who work in town, park at the villa on that day, it's a Friday, and leave your vehicle there and walk to your office, right? And then, you go back at the end of your work day or whenever. It's not strictly for persons who are working, but let's just say you come into town to do your errands on Fridays, or you have something to do. Once you don't mean you have to carry a big box, right?
Exactly.
You park at the villa and you walk into town. So we're launching something softer than the feet in the street, because we want individuals to get accustomed to parking somewhere and walking into town. Just today somebody asked me about feet in the street, if we're never going to do it again, because they like it, right?
I told you.
Just this afternoon. And so that's what we're trying to do, and we want it to be successful because we want to try to do it more often, so get persons to and I know we need the play, we need the airplay, so people could share it and get accustomed. Tell everybody, tell a friend that this Friday, well, not this Friday, but Friday the 28th, we're walking into our office and parking, and it's persons who drive into town from the other side of the island, not necessarily Gingerland side, but this side where you come to Pennies. You're welcome to park at the villa and walk to work as well. Right, so it's not just for persons who have to pass the villa to come into town. So that is what we wanted to come here today, because we know we have a wide listening audience, to encourage persons on the 28th of Friday, the 28th of February, park up your vehicle and walk into town. To do whatever you got to do and to go to work.
And that's the practice for the following week when you have your step quest. So,
so everything ties into each other.
And then, commemorating World Obesity Day, and then we end with the fun run in the sun.
Right.
So everybody's going to get a chance to do something this year. Make sense?
Yeah, I'll walk into town before the fun run in the sun.
And then we said 7:45, right?
Yes.
You know how Nevis people like to play in the grey area, so you have persons who say, "Me work for 7," and they count me out. No, so whatever time you work, you even allowed to park there even before we get there. That's fine, because it's not that you're gonna be locked up. Just park there and walk into town and take.
And
back.
then find us, and we'll give and share the QR code for you to enter into the raffle.
Right.
So
that's wonderful. 3 wonderful initiatives. I think all that we can do for health and health promotion, certainly whatever we can do to prevent things like diabetes and
hypertension, cancer, heart failure,
the sugar, everything that we're talking about there, the sugar is a big contributor. I've been doing some reading, and it's always the sugar, the excessive use of
that's addictive. Ultimately,
sugar.
It is. Sugar is actually more addictive than heroin. Yep. Google it, you see.
And then also your taste buds. There's so many factors that play into why it's hard for us to cut out sugar, right? So we always tell persons, just take, add a little water to your drink, and then add a little bit more each week.
We have another caller. Let's try to take this call. Caller, you're on the market. We've lost the caller. Callers, please be patient with us. We're talking about health here, and health is important. The better health we're in, the longer we can expect to live.
Yes.
And once we stay safe on the road and so on.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, I was allowing you all to
Oh, sorry.
continue.
Oh, yes. Yes, so we want to just encourage persons to get up and be active. Even if you're not going to take part in our activities, just
Yes.
tell yourself, this got to be my sign that I really should start doing some kind of exercising, or, join
Eating
the
healthy.
gym, or eating healthy, cut out sugar, drink a little bit more water,
Get up a half an hour earlier.
Yes, and do
and
some
do
kind of
some
exercise, or
exercising.
and add vegetables to your plate on a
Yes,
day other than
fresh.
Sunday.
Yes, and
'Cause
fresh vegetables. Try your best to.
Fresh vegetables,
Grate a little carrot. Nothing wrong with
simple, bag of
that.
lettuce,
Bag of lettuce.
tomatoes.
Because the fresher the better. More antioxidants. And then also we'll be having a lot more wellness quests in general. So coming up, one of our colleagues, she's organizing a healthy lunch sampler. So those are things that we're looking out. You can look out from us. From the health promotion unit, is that ultimately we're really pushing very strong this year, is the fact that the numbers are showing that we have to be more proactive in our health.
Wonderful. So we got the Fun Run in the Sun on March 7th. March 4th is World Obesity Day.
yes.
And what are we launching on March 4th?
March 4th is just the beginning. Is that we're not having anything in particular on that day.
And
Yes.
then on the 28th, we are having,
the park and walk,
and then there's one more thing.
Yes,
and then the step quest,
The
the,
step
work
quest.
time step
Okay,
quest,
and that is on,
that starts the week of
the 3rd of
the
March.
3rd of March.
okay, so that starts on the 3rd of March.
Yes.
And how long does the step quest go?
For the week, so
Okay.
from the 3rd to the 7th.
And we're looking at 2,000
Steps.
steps.
At least 2,000
least.
steps.
Okay, so that means everybody needs to get
A smart,
A
You know.
smartwatch, or they
Some
could
sort of-
download.
They could do-
download the apps.
Yeah.
There's,
On
there's
the
free.
phone?
Yeah, there's free
Okay.
step apps on the phone. So we're just
Okay.
asking persons
To track this.
to track the steps, and then they take a screenshot or a shot, just some kind of record of that day, so that we could see that between 8 and 4 you got your 2,000 steps.
Okay, wonderful.
And there's one other thing I want to, before you close up. On Friday the 14th, which is Valentine's Day, we're going to be having HIV testing.
That's this Friday?
Yes,
That's
on
okay.
Health Promotion Unit.
Wonderful.
From 9:30 to 2 p.m. 9:30 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Okay.
That's at the Health Promotion Unit.
Okay,
Yes.
wonderful.
Free
And-
HIV testing.
And I
Rapid
did see
testing.
some information coming out about HIV numbers. I think I saw something coming out before, and then there was something that came out
Yes.
officially from the NIA after.
Yes.
So, of course, I think everybody would be aware of the whole HIV pandemic from the 1980s and the 90s. We don't hear so much about it now because of the advancements in medicine, but it's something that is still there, and we should really be cautious and
Get tested.
you know, yes, one, get tested, and two, act responsibly. So you know, it's something that's you know, there, and we really ought to, you know our status. Of course, that's important, and then also be very responsible in the things that we are doing.
Yes, I do
Yeah.
agree with that, and that is the reason why we have the numbers that we have now, because persons are not being responsible and being careless. And the test is only 20 minutes. 20 minutes is the longest you would be there waiting for the results. It's rapid
Okay.
testing, and
Okay.
so yeah.
Wonderful. So, ladies, thank you for coming. It was really nice having you. Hopeful. March 7th is a long time to get ready, so I'll see what happens. I'll see if I can find four persons to go into the slow race with me.
Yes, that's how we want persons to sign up by next week, Friday, which is the 22nd of February.
I won't be in the race with the
For the police and defense
police
force.
and the defense force.
Ah,
and the-
but you could join the team.
and the
Maybe they will let you
gentlemen.
join the team.
No, I will keep back the team. I don't want to be told that we've had our spotless record over all these years.
And try come
and
mess up
we
the
brought-
record.
No, they're not
Try
gonna do that
liable
to you. They're not-
to bring down the team.
Oh dear.
Sometimes when you think you're good at something and you're not so good anymore, it's good to retire. So
But team manager is also an option.
So-
We
so
can look at
I'm-
it.
I'm out of competition
I
now.
understand.
I am going to live through the young people in Nevis who are doing well in sports. I want to succeed to their success.
Right.
That's what I want to see happen.
So he's gonna be a team manager. Then.
I want to.
You're gonna get your 5 then.
I'm the cheerleader. I want to be a cheerleader.
The cheerleader.
So I want to cheer the young people. You know, that's what I do when I go to sports. I cheer all of the young people.
What if cabinet put in a team?
Cabinet?
Oh my goodness.
Well, if I was just here saying how badly I've heard, and I think I would be the little best in there, that being the cabinet team in England and away, because I think I would be the little best on that. We have a caller calling in. Caller, you're on the mark. Good night. You're catching us at a good time.
Good evening, how are you?
Wonderful. Yes, hello.
For the lovely ladies that
Yes.
the health promotion unit.
Wonderful, and they were just about to go, so I'm so happy you've called in. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, they're saying that they're testing from until 2:30, but I want to know why they're going to finish so early. What happened to persons who finish working a little later?
When you say a little later, what do you mean? What time?
Like people who finish like work 3:30.
Okay, so the cutoff time is at 2 because we suspect that we're gonna have we might have persons waiting, and then we actually finish working at 4. But if someone who finished working at 3 comes in and the tester is still there, then you won't be left out. You will be able to test. But we had to do a cutoff time just so we're not going over the time when we are there, because sometimes when we do have testing days, we do have a few persons waiting, and it goes over the time.
Okay.
It's just a cutoff time to control the crowd.
And we still have regular testing.
And then we're going to resume our regular testing days each week in just in short order. So listen out for that as well.
Okay. And thank you very much.
Thank you.
Welcome.
You're welcome.
All right.
Thank you very much, caller. You have any other caller?
That's a good question.
Okay, so ladies, it was a pleasure. Of course, this is a political show, so I'm sure the people out there want to get into to the meat of the matter.
Right.
So I'm going to do that. It's wonderful to talk about health, and I look forward to seeing you all at these events, and maybe another time right here on the mark. We certainly appreciate the work that you do, looking out for the health of the nation is the wealth of the nation.
Yes, it is.
And that is something that is really, really important. So appreciate having you here.
Thank you for
Thank you
having
very
us, Troy. I
much.
appreciate
Wonderful. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to On the Mark, Straight Talk Across the Narrows. We are about 10 minutes before the 9 o'clock hour. Had the wonderful guests here, Miss Chevrolet Nisbet and Miss Michelle Sutton from the Health Promotion Unit. And they brought us some wonderful news, speaking all about health, being active, trying to fight against obesity, trying to fight against non-communicable diseases, diabetes, the hypertension, those things that could lead to heart disease and ultimately heart failure. Certainly talking about the good lifestyle, the lifestyle changes that we can make, that could, little small tweaks, things that we could do, a little better diet, waking up maybe a half an hour earlier, going and taking a little walk for that half an hour, or doing some stretches, maybe, marking time on the spot, jogging, doing some jumping jacks. People used to do jumping jacks a long time ago. Maybe doing some jump rope, skipping, or whatever the case may be. Just get out and be active, okay? And maybe eating a little bit less. If you're accustomed to eat a certain amount, maybe take just a little bit off the plate. Don't take off the vegetables though. Leave the vegetables. Take out a little bit of the the starch and so on, and let's try to be just a little bit healthier. The healthier we can be, the better it is for all of us. Of course, we know that our health system is being stretched, because we're dealing with quite a lot of cases of diabetes and hypertension and so on. And we all have to look out for each other, encourage your friends and neighbors to come for a walk with you or go and take a little jog, whatever it is, you know. Sometimes if you're trying to do something on your own and it's not working, get together with a group and get it to work. So I see we have quite a bit of clubs in Nevis now where we have groups that they go walking and hiking and all of those type of things. Those are all good things to join. And if the clubs that you see they're moving too fast for you, get together with a group of people who you think are in your range, and you know, you all get together and start a chat group, a WhatsApp chat group, and encourage each other and so on. So that's it for me on the health front. Of course, as I said at the top of the show, it's sports season here again on Nevis, sports term, and we would have had the track and field, the athletics meet today for the Charlestown secondary school. I didn't get to hear which house won. I took in a bit of the sports today. I also watched some of the live stream. I think the live stream was on the Department of Education Facebook page, also on the Department of Education's YouTube page. So I think most of the sports meets this year will be live streamed on those pages, so we can certainly tune in. I'm going to give a rundown of the schedule. I have it here somewhere. I'm looking for the schedule so that we can know when these sports meets will be happening. Okay, so I found the schedule. So let's go. So we are in February now. Okay. And okay, so today, the 12th of February, we had the Charlestown Secondary School sports, and that was at the Mondo track. Tomorrow, the 13th of February, we're going to be having the Gingerland Secondary School sports. That's also going to be at the Mondo track. On the 18th of February, that's next week, we're going to have V&J's preschool. They're going to be having their sports meet, and that's going to be at the E.T. Willett Park. On the 19th, that's next week, Friday, I think, we have the Charlestown Primary School, and they're going to be at the Nevis Athletic Stadium, the Mondo track. On the 20th, so Charlestown is the 19th, so that's a Wednesday, sorry, I did say a Friday. So the 19th is on a Wednesday. We have the Charlestown Primary School. On the 20th, that's the Thursday, we have the Elizabeth Pemberton Primary School, EPPS, sports meet, and that is going to be at the Flats in Coal Hill. On the 25th of February, we have the sports meet for the Nevis Academy, and that's going to be at the Nevis Athletic Stadium also. On the 26th of February, we have the Ivor Walters Primary School having their sports meet, and that is also going to be at the Nevis Athletic Stadium. And then on the 27th, we have the Joycelyn Liebert Primary having their sports meet, and that is also going to be at the Nevis Athletic Stadium. So on the week of the 25th, we have Nevis Academy on the 25th, Ivor Walters on the 26th, and Joycelyn Liebert on the 27th. So that's 3 days of sports. And then on the weekend of the 1st and 2nd of March, we are going to be having the Bank of Nevis Limited Nevis High School Championships. So that's our two high schools here on the island of Nevis, and the two public high schools and the Nevis International Secondary School. They're going to be having that high school championship for the Nevis schools here at the Nevis Athletic Stadium. That's the 1st and 2nd of March. Then on the 4th of March, we go over to the St. James School playing field, and we'll have the St. James Primary School having their sports. That's on the 4th of March. On the 5th of March, we have the St. Thomas's Primary School. They will be having their sports meet at the Nevis Athletic Stadium. Then on the 6th of March, we have the Cicely Brown Integrated School. That's on the 6th of March. We have the Cicely Brown Integrated School, and that is going to be at the Nevis Athletic Stadium. Then on the 7th of March, we have the VOJN Primary School, and they're going to be having their sports meet at the VOJN grounds. So that's on the 7th of March, VOJN Primary School at the school grounds. On the same day, we are going to have the Nevis International Secondary School. They're going to be having their sports, and that will be at the Bath playing field. Then on the 12th of March, we have the Maud Cross Preparatory School. They're going to be having their sports meet at the Nevis Athletic Stadium. That's on the 12th of March, the Maud Cross Preparatory School at the Nevis Athletic Stadium. Then on the 13th of March, we have Naomi's Preschool. They're going to be having their sports, and that is going to be at the St. Thomas's School ground. Then on the 14th of March, we have the Ines France Preschool, and that's going to be at the St. Thomas's School ground. Then on the 14th, also on the 14th of March, we have the Montessori Academy. They're going to be having their sports meet at the Bath Village playing field. Then on the 18th of March, we have the St. John's Preschool. They're going to be having their sports at the Bath Playfield. Then on the 20th of March, we have the Combermere Preschool. They're going to be having their sports at the VOJN field. Then on the 20th of March, we have the Maud Cross Preschool. They're going to be having their sports meet at E.T. Willett Park. On the 21st of March, we have the Gingerland Preschool. Their sports meet is going to be at the Hard Times playing field. Then on the 24th of March, we have the Vern and Lou Preschool. Their sports meet is going to be at the school field. Then on the 25th of March, we have the Charlestown Preschool, and their sports meet is going to be at the E.T. Willett Park. That's on the 25th of March. Then on the 2nd of April, it's the big one, the Mini Olympics. We have the Golf and Bunny sponsored Nevis Interprimary Schools Championship, and that's going to be on the 2nd of April. Somewhere in here we also have the Inter-High School Championships, but I don't see the date, so I guess somebody's going to send me that date, and then I can call it out on the microphone. But these are the sports meets that we are going to be having here on the island of Nevis. So it's always an exciting time of year. Track and field is always something that we enjoy, and this is the time of year when we do track and field. As I said, I was at the St. Thomas's Primary School this morning, where they had their cross country, and several of the schools have been having cross countries. I know I've seen them on the television. Curtis Morton has been doing a wonderful job going around and, you know, being the videographer, documenting these cross countries and so on. And these cross countries, you can find them on YouTube. I've seen them all over the internet, and parents have been going out and supporting the children, and I see them on their WhatsApp status and on Facebook and so on. Whatever we can do to promote the children, you know, that's, you know, all well and good, and that's fine. I was at St. Thomas's today because my son, who is in grade 1, he was running in the cross country, and I think he did very well. He didn't come first, but he did very well, and we have to encourage the children when they are out there running, and I think they feel so good when they are running and they see the parents, those who are able to come out to support. I know that not all parents are able to come out and support because they might be on the job or wherever, but if you have the opportunity, you can come out and support the children. So that's important. Wherever you have the opportunity, you can come out and be supportive. We have a caller, so let's go to the lines and take that call. Caller, you're on the mark. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Labor.
Good evening. How are you?
Not too bad. Mr. Labor, you left out Jinxing Up Classic, and that is the 23rd of February.
See, it wasn't on the list that I had, so I know that you were going to call in and tell me. So the Jinxing Up Classic on the 23rd of February.
February, yeah.
Okay, wonderful. And for those who don't know, the Jinxing Up Classic is kind of a precursor to the Inter-High School Championship. It's a meet that does not involve field events and so on. It happened right here at the Nevis Athletic Stadium last year, and it's going to be happening again here this year. So it's going to be on February 23rd. That's just around the corner. So we have to get prepared for that. I believe that's next weekend, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, yes. So it is next weekend. We're having the Jinxing Up Classic right here at the Nevis Athletic Stadium, and that's going to include most of the secondary schools on St. Kitts and the secondary schools here on Nevis, and it's a track event, so they're not going to be any field events, so it's all running, and it's a wonderful event. It's just like the Inter-High, except that we don't have all of the field events and so on. So I want to encourage the general public to come out and support our high schoolers, and I want to thank that caller for that. If you can call in and tell me the date for the Inter-High, I would also appreciate that. I want to encourage everybody to go out as much as you can and support. Anything for the children is always good when the adults can come out and support them. For me, when I go to these events and so on, whether it's a sports day, whether I'm going to the school for a cross country, whether I'm going to the school for an elocution contest, if it's a concert, whatever the case may be, the way that these children, the way that their eyes light up when they come out and they see their parents, or they see their older siblings, or they see uncles and aunts or family supporters coming to support them, they really feel good when they see them. Today, when I was at the school, when I got there early, my son asked me if I'm going to run the cross country with him, and I thought about it for a second. Of course, I set off with them, but then I had to stop, because I couldn't make the whole cross country. But the important thing is to go and to show up, let them see that you're giving that support. As I said, I know not everybody can show up, because sometimes you have to be on the job, and the job doesn't allow you to leave during the school time. But when you have time, whether it's sports or whether it's anything else, it's always good to show our children that we are supporting them. We push them a bit, but don't push them to the point where we run them away from, whether it is sport or anything else that they are participating. Show them that support them. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to On the Mark. We are past the 9 o'clock hour. I am Troy Libert. I'm your host. Of course, I want to open the lines. The numbers to call are 869-469-1616 or 869-469-1700. We had the good folks from the Health Promotion Unit here earlier, but now they're gone, and we are open to talk about just about anything that you want to come in and put on the table. I'm talking a little bit about sports, because it is sports time, but we could talk about anything that's happening in the federation. And I know there's been quite a lot happening. Every time I'm walking down the street now, somebody's talking to me about our new laws that people say are, very restrictive. The new traffic laws, the laws about seat belts and the fines. Up to this afternoon, I was at earlier today I was at an establishment, and the talk was about the new laws and the fact that if you're found over the limit, the alcohol limit, or whatever the case is, that the fines could go up to I think it's 5,000. I haven't read the actual law. I'm waiting to see the actual law come out, and then I'll have a read of the entire law. But based on what was discussed in the House and what people have been talking about, they're talking about the size of the fines. Also, I think folks have been talking quite a lot about the booster seats. The fact that now, once you have children, once you're driving with children in the vehicle, even if they're in the back of the vehicle, and the children are under a certain height or under the age of 5, that they would need to be in a booster car seat. So there's been quite a lot of talk about that. My own opinion on some of it, an abbreviated opinion, because as I say, I haven't read through the entire law. I did see the clipping of the law that spoke about the booster seat and so on, and I think it's all about safety. Of course, we know over the past few weeks, from late in last year coming into early this year, we've seen quite a few accidents on the road. We've had quite a few accidents over on the sister island of St. Kitts. Some of them have ended tragically, and so the government really had to step in and do something, and the result is now, the laws that we saw being passed in the House. I think it was maybe 2 weeks ago now, and so there's quite a bit of chatter out there in the community about those laws being passed, and the fact that everybody now has to be strapped in, and the children in the back or wherever they are have to be strapped in. One person told me, well, what's going to happen in the passenger buses if the passenger buses don't have seat belts? Are they going to say that we're going to put booster seats in the passenger buses and so on? Is it that we can't carry children under the age of 5 in the passenger bus? And all of these are questions that are being asked by the general public, and things that people are talking about. And I am certain that in the fullness of time, either the Attorney General or somebody from within the police, somebody from traffic, would need to maybe come on a show like this, or come out on some sort of media and address the public, so that the questions that the public have could be answered. Of course, when the actual print of the law comes out, I'll have a read and see what it says for myself. But it would be good to have some clarification from the authorities on on exactly what is expected from the public, especially when it comes to buses, when it comes to school buses, when it comes to passenger buses and so on. What are the expectations in terms of where we are with booster seats? And I've also heard some comments from persons, that there is some ambiguity about exactly the meaning of the booster seat law. So it would be important to have somebody come out and actually clarify that also. So those are a few of the things that we have happening here in the Federation. I mean, for me, my big focus is on the sports and so on, but other things have been happening while I'm here on the mark. And since I haven't been here for a little bit since last year. I want to publicly say a big thank you to the Winsong Foundation, because late last year and early this year we would have received some 4 40-foot container loads of desks and chairs to be distributed at our schools here on the island of Nevis. We have already started the distribution. They were donated, of course, to the Ministry of Education from the Winsong Foundation. Something like just under 1,000 desks and just under 1,000 chairs, and these were well needed by our schools, and so we want to thank Winsong for coming forward. I'm sure most persons by now would have heard about Winsong. They've been doing quite a wonderful job certainly since I've been the Minister of Education. The ministry has collaborated with Winsong on quite a few projects, so these desks and chairs are just the latest in a series of collaborations that we have had with Winsong, and I really want to thank them for the donation. I was on hand. We would have taken the containers from the Long Point port, and we would have parked them in the yard of the Nevis Athletic Stadium, just to take just to empty them, to unpack them, and to have the stuff distributed to the school, those that we have carried out so far. Of course, we have the Department of Education who are doing an audit or an assessment now of the schools, looking through to see the furniture that are in the the worst state, the furniture that we need to change out, and then to bring in this new furniture that we have gotten from Winsong. So I really want to say a big thank you to them. I think somewhere on Facebook I would have put out that the total spend was somewhere close to $500,000, and I would have seen some comments where persons said, that's quite a lot of money, and so on for the amount. When I put out that the shipping alone, because to ship anything to Nevis is kind of expensive, so the shipping alone was in excess of 100,000 EC, and Winsong would have taken care of everything. So they didn't just do the donation to us and then we had to pay for the shipping. They bought the chairs, they packed the containers, and they paid to ship them to Nevis. So the only thing we have had to do is to distribute them to our schools for the benefit of our young people, and I think that is really worthy of some high praise and some high commendations. If we didn't get that, then we would have to be finding money to pay for all of this furniture, and furniture doesn't come cheap. As I said, it's in excess of 500,000. One of the other things that we have recently collaborated on with the Winsong Foundation is the purchase of some musical instrument, some of which have started to go to the school so that we could improve our music program in the school. It includes a set of steel pans. I know in recent years steel pan is now a big thing in Nevis. We have so many steel pan players. Every time I go to a graduation now, or I go to some sort of significant ceremony, more often than not, we have somebody there doing the national anthem or doing some sort of rendition, and they're doing it on steel pan. So we have quite a lot of steel pan playing going on in Nevis. We have it in the schools, we have it through the Department of the Community Services Department, and quite a lot of it going on. So Winsong would have come on board with that, and we have a full set of pans, complement of Winsong, that we are using in our schools to teach children of school age pan. So it's another set that we have added to the complement of pans that are around the island. So pan is something that is on the rise here on Nevis. Certainly we had a good demonstration of pan over the Culturama, and we're looking forward to something now for 2025. So again, I want to thank Winsong for coming on board. We also got other musical instruments, guitars and keyboards and so on, and those we're going to be rolling out shortly. One of the other things that we were able to collaborate with Winsong on is the donation of some tablets, and these tablets are to be used in our schools. And I want to announce that we were waiting on some storage and charging cabinets for some of these tablets to start the distribution, and we've gotten those on island now. So this distribution, this note, we'll be hearing about it. We're going to be starting the rollout very, very soon. We also, I think you can be in Nevis and not see, the school buses that we have driving around. I think pretty much everything that's happening, especially now it's sports term. When you go over to the Nevis Athletic Stadium, if you're sitting in the area of the stands, they normally have the buses on the far side, and as soon as sports is over, you see all the students going up and the buses transporting the students in an orderly manner, getting all of the students home. We were able to collaborate with the same Winsong Foundation, and over a period of time, I think the total number of buses that we have gotten from them is 6. So there are, I think, 3 of them that look different. They are new shape. Those came from Winsong, and then we have 3 of the shape before. Those would have also come from Winsong. So all of them are from 2016 to now. We would have gotten 6 buses from the Winsong Foundation. So that collaboration, I think, has been a very, very fruitful one. So again, I want to say kudos to Winsong Foundation. Thank you for being there and being a partner with us over the years on all of these different initiatives. And we hope to continue, our collaboration. We hope to continue to benefit from, what the charity has. I think that as a people, the young people of Nevis are the beneficiaries, and whatever we can do, to help our young people, that we should be all about that. And I for one, am all about that. Ladies and gentlemen, we are listening to On The Mark, and it seems as though our callers want me to talk all night tonight. Of course, I'm prepared to do that. But we tend to like it a little bit when the phones ring and people come in and they talk about the different things that they want to talk about. But if everybody just want to hear me talk, then I can certainly continue to talk. As I said, this is the first time being here for 2025, and certainly I have a lot of things that I want to talk about. Certainly for 2025, we have quite a lot of plans as a government. We are thinking that 2025 is going to be a great year here on the island of Nevis. I think you would have heard about all of the good things happening. We have our water well drilling program that's happening. I think the Premier would have spoken about that last week when he was on the show, that we would have engaged a company, and we have started a drilling program which has already yielded 2 productive wells, one of which is extremely productive. So here in Nevis, I think we're doing well when it comes to water. I haven't heard a lot of complaints and so on. So I think once everything is going well, you're not going to hear people talk so much, and we haven't been hearing anything about water. That means that we are doing well. The minute water starts to go off, or you hear water rationing, everybody starts to call in to talk about it. But when it's going well and there are no issues, we don't hear anything. We don't get any calls to say, that the water is going good. Everybody say, well, that's your job. So it's going good. So I want to say kudos to Minister Spencer Brand and his team, who would have come up with that wonderful initiative. I think the drillers are back on island now, and they are in the Descents area of Gingerland, where they are working on another well there. And all of this is a part of what we are doing to secure our water system, and it's all been taking progressive steps over the years. We would have started way back when, in 2013 and 2014, when we would have started with the water project that we implemented at that time. I will hasten to say that government is continuous. So at that time, when we got into government, there were plans that were already afoot for a water project. Of course, the way that it was going to be executed is probably not the way that we did it. We decided that we wanted to, include more local people into what we did. We wanted to not just give out the work to foreign companies and so on. We wanted to utilize the local heavy equipment operators, the backhoe operators, the excavator operators, the truckers, all of our own people here at Nevis. I remember back in those days, people said we started a trucking industry. I think that used to be the buzzword that people used to talk and say back in those days, that we started a trucking industry when we were doing that water project. So it started with replacing a lot of the old lines that we had on island. We had 6-inch and 4-inch metal lines. At the time, we still had lines that were asbestos, and we took out all of those lines. I think we started the project over in Maddens, actually, and oddly enough, that's where the first new well has been dug under this project that we have going on now. So we would have started the water project over in Maddens, gone along the main road all the way over to Camps, up to Spring Hill, down through Westbury, come across all the way to Jessops, by the tank in Jessops, and then we would have changed out the lines that come back into the Charlestown area, and then we would have come around the other side through the Gingerland area, coming up through Stony Hill and Rollins, coming over to Zetlands, and then coming all the way down into Brown Pasture with our new line. So we would have taken out all of the smaller metal and asbestos pipes, and we would have put in HDPE pipes, 12-inch and 8-inch pipes. So the system is a lot more efficient now. We would have taken out the old storage tanks that we had at the time and put in new reservoirs. And then under this new project now, we would have had a new reservoir being built up at Pond Hill that was recently done, and now we are having the new wells being dug, so we have new sources of water. So it's something that is continuous. I know a lot of times out there in the general public, the public is looking to see things being done and they want it to be done immediately, but good things take time, especially when we're on a small island. The other day I was talking to somebody, and we were talking about general progress and so on in Nevis, and I said to the person that we need to remember that Nevis is a small island, 36 square miles, with a population of just about 13,000 people. So we're not doing too badly considering the population that we have, and all of the different things that we have. We're able to carry services. When I spoke to somebody and I told them that over 95% of the population here on Nevis has running water in their homes, that is not something that other islands can say that they have achieved. Even the big islands, they can't say that they have achieved that, penetration of running water. They still have quite a lot of people who are going to the dams. I remember back in the 80s and 90s, as a youngster, that everybody didn't have water inside the house. You were lucky if you had a standpipe on the outside of the house, or you had one of those type of showers. And if you didn't have that, then you had a water pipe, down at the bottom of the road. And sometimes when water would have to go off, when water went off, you had to walk really, really far, maybe as far as Market Shop, where they had the stone tank to get water. In these days now, it is something that is right there. You have water in the bathroom, water in the kitchen, numerous standpipes around the home, and the expectation is that once you turn on the faucet, that you are going to have water. So we've come a really long way in Nevis, and it's the same way with electricity. So if you look around, the minute electricity goes off in Nevis for 10 minutes, people start complaining. You go on Facebook and somebody is putting up a post, "Thank you, Nevlec," or something like that, because we go for weeks and weeks and weeks without even having one outage. So the moment we have an outage, it's a really big deal. So we continue to progress over time, and it's important that we stop at times and we reminisce about the progress. And when we decide to criticize or we decide to talk about something, we should talk about it looking at where we are coming from. We shouldn't just talk about it in a vacuum. We shouldn't just say, "Oh, the electricity gone off tonight," and not think about the fact that all of the different things that we have had to do to get it to the point where we are. If we listen to even the federal budget last year and we look at what the state of electricity is, even over on the sister island of St. Kitts, not to really criticize, but there are places where electricity goes off on a regular basis, and it is not just by chance that we have the system that we have here in Nevis. It is because we would have taken decisive steps to purchase generators and to do other things. And I also want to commend the guys working at Nevlec. I want to bring them up for high commendation, because every time there's an issue with electricity, whether it's a pole that is knocked down, whatever the issue is, whatever happened, and we have issues with electricity, the guys who work at Nevlec are always responding, whether it's in the middle of the night. It doesn't matter the time of day or night. Once something happens, these guys are going to respond, and they're going to be out there working until the situation is resolved. So it's not like something is going to happen and they're going to work and then they're going to say, "Well, my shift is over, so I'm going home, and I'll come back tomorrow and see if we can get this thing solved." We have a caller? Okay, let's go back to the lines. I have a caller. Wonderful. Caller, you're on the mark. Good night.
Yeah, Troy. Good evening.
Good evening.
And how are you doing?
I am wonderful.
Yeah, I haven't heard your voice for quite a while.
Yeah, man, it's good to be here.
Yes. I'm sure that, give the citizens an opportunity to have a dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always very important. Information, education is always, because as they would all rightly say, that knowledge is power, and it's always very, very important to give information and give the country, the nation, the opportunity to have a dialogue. But before I move on, let me just say, because you've been talking for a while, and I decided to come in. I dropped sleep last week. I wanted to deal with certain things, but
sure, man, you can put anything on the table.
Yeah. So I want to take the opportunity first of all to say happy birthday to my friend Mrs. Voni Amri, who's celebrating today. And I know after speaking to her, she had a wonderful day, and I just hope that she will enjoy the rest of the few hours, make the best of the rest of her special day, and may God richly bless her and give her, I wish her many, many years also, many more years. I want to ask the question because I've been hearing in reference to the stadium in Nevis where, we have the problem down here, and that is why, just like how we have a default government, the Nevis stadium had the opportunity to host the inter-school competition last year by default, right? And that would have actually given Nevis an opportunity to have some economic activity. But what is the situation with the sports stadium in Nevis? Because I heard some people mention in terms of there's no light and the schools have to finish before it gets dark and things like that. You can give any update on that?
Oh yes, I would be the ideal person to address this. Up to today, we had a sports meet at the track, and at that time I was watching the live feed, and for some reason the lights had not come on as yet, and somebody made a decision to prematurely end the sports. But I think it was just a miscommunication. The proper information came and the lights were turned on. So we've had this track was completed, I think, at the end of 2017, and so it's been quite a few years. And with anything that you do, you're going to have to do repairs and so on. So we have the lighting system, and we have a warranty for the lighting system. So a few of the lights would have gone out, and based on the warranty that we had, we were in negotiations with the company to get the replacement parts and so on under the warranty. During the back and forth with the company and our electricians and so on, the company would have said that based on the type of damage that they saw, that it was most likely caused by lightning, some sort of lightning strike or something like that. And based on their policies, they don't really cover certain things under lightning. So the government has gone ahead and made the purchase of the necessary parts that we need to rectify some of the lights. Those are on their way already. We should have them shortly, but in the meantime we were able to, our electricians were able to get the lights that are working. We were able to get quite a few lights up and working enough so that the track and so on would be lit. So they're in a workable state, to put it in that way.
Okay, that I think is very good news, because I were hearing that school were informed to finish the sports days before it get dark. So it is very good news.
Well, Carla, oddly enough, even when we have the lights, that is always the information that we send to the schools, because we are dealing with children, and most of our sports are happening during the week, and that the next day is school. So we always try to have them schedule the sports in such a way that they finish in a reasonable time. We have the lighting, but we would rather finish the sports at a reasonable hour, so that the children can get home, parents can get home, and they can prepare for the school day the next day.
And what you explained to me this evening, were there any communication to the general public in reference to the position with the lights, because when people don't get information, they can speculate, and sometimes people not really being reasonable. Anything go wrong, and because anything that man make, which I always tell people, I do not have 100% confidence with nothing to do with technology. As long as it's anything that man make, it will never ever work 100% all the time. Sometimes you just get something brand new, and when you look back, is something gone wrong, something ain't working, and you have something else for many years, and it continue to work, quite well and efficient.
The thing is, it would have been communicated, but of course, everybody doesn't consume the same media. So sometimes you say something, we might say it here on the mark, and somebody else might say, well, we never heard anything about that. So I guess we just have to keep on communicating, and my hope is that we would get these items sooner rather than later. I'm told they're shipped already, and my hope is that we will get them sooner rather than later. We would be able to install them, and then we would be able to have all of the lights up so that we can enjoy the facility in all of its glory in the evening.
Well, you mentioned in reference to sports, and which is something I sure anyone who would understand the benefit of sports, health-wise and financial-wise. And this is why we ask our young people to stay on the right path, because there is no benefit in doing anything wrong, because the only right a man has a right to do is what is right. And if you choose to do what is right, then you would not have to worry about the law, and be in charge or penalized or whatever. Just do what is right, and that is what is most important. So even your conscience, you feel happy in the sense that you know that you obey the laws, that you obey your parents, your teachers, the church, the community, and you will be on the right path. And as long as you continue, because sports and education also go a very, very long way, very beneficial. When you in the education and you also into the sports, it's also help you. It will help both of them. It's a tremendous marriage and combination for any child, any individual. So it's always very important for the children to stay on the right path, so we can have less issues in the country, in the communities, and that will take a strain off of government resources. Because when you get yourself involved in doing nonsense and foolishness instead of being productive, then it would give the country an opportunity to be spending money into resources that it probably is not going to benefit the country, which it could have been used for different things. And speaking of sports, which many persons have to understand also, because if you're into sports or in general, we have to understand that living a good life in terms of your diet, maybe you can probably comment on that also too, as a minister.
And then if we had some folks from the health promotion unit on earlier, and that's what they were talking about, dieting and so on. And I think when you were talking, you mentioned the fact that being involved in sports and so on could be very beneficial financially. I think coming out of last year, and if anybody around here was looking at the Olympics and they wanted some inspiration, I think what happened with Julian Alfred from St. Lucia should be something that could inspire just about anybody from around here, because here we had a young lady coming from St. Lucia. I mean, what's the difference between St. Kitts and Nevis and St. Lucia? We're a small island. So Julian Alfred is a small island girl. Julian Alfred would have left St. Lucia and went to high school in Jamaica. she wasn't the fastest person when she was in high school in Jamaica. Other persons used to beat her and so on. She left from there. She went to university in the United States. When she got there, she wasn't the fastest. She worked hard, and then she became the fastest in the NCAA, broke a lot of records. Then she turned pro, and she was able to win an Olympic gold. I think that story, is something that should really appeal to folks around here. That if somebody like her could do it, that means, some youngster from St. Kitts or some youngster from Nevis could do the same thing.
Yes, as you rightfully mentioned in terms of Miss Alfred, and there's no success without hard work, and giving up should not be an option, right? When it comes to an individual, because it don't take a country with 300 million people, or in the sense of Jamaica over 2 million, to produce a world beater, right? It only takes one mother, one father to provide a world beater. So whether you have 30, in our case, 50, just about 50,000 people we produced, which not many country in the world can boast, which when we had Kim Collins, which we congratulate our tremendous ambassador, who would have done well.
I still remember when Kim realized that he won, the way how he was jumping up. When I close my eyes now, I can still see it.
Yeah, it was a tremendous joy and experience for our country, our nation, our federation, where we recorded the fastest man in the world in 10.07 seconds. And I'm also very disappointed in terms of not giving the country the opportunity to celebrate that anniversary, because that is a tremendous achievement by anybody, to achieve, and definitely need to be acknowledged. And I am definitely looking forward for that in the future. So you rightfully mentioned in terms of the dieting, which is very, very important, because 3 things that every single individual should do every day. In the first place, right, every single time you consume food, you do one thing which is an H to your body, and it's either you heal your body or you harm your body. There's no two ways about that. It's either you help or you hurt, right? Because a lot of the things that we consume, we were not born to consume them. But a lot of the things that taste good is what is not good, right? And unfortunately, imagine that there are many people, and too many, consume maybe 90% bad every day. Things that it will do harm instead of heal, right? So if you consistently, consume the wrong things, you don't expect to get the right results. So it's a matter of people being responsible in terms of the lifestyle. 3 things that people should do every single day. 3 very important things. 1, you should consume water. Water is life. It has a lot of benefit. It helps your digestive system, help to clean your skin. Drinking water, which is the first thing in the day, is very beneficial. Drinking water before bed, which help to contribute tremendously to the risk or the prevention in having a heart attack. Water is very, very important, and that is something I asked someone around 4 p.m. one afternoon, have you drink any water for the day? And they're wondering, they're still thinking, because they're not into the drinking water, not realizing that the Coke and the soda and the whatever and these foolishness that people will be consuming doesn't really make much sense. It does no good to you, but a lot of sugar, that's all. Tastes good, no good, right? And secondly, one must laugh. Laughter is the only medication which has no side effect and no price. Very, very beneficial. And thirdly, every single person should socialize. Socializing is very, very beneficial and important. So every single person must be responsible in terms of the life they live and the decisions they make in life. But I I want to touch quickly on a few things because
Sure.
in reference to agriculture, I heard all this big talk about what 2025 in reference to the feasibility and you making sure that you cut down on the import bill, and that is one of the things that any government of the day should concentrate on providing and producing as much as possible at home, because that will create economic activity, create jobs, which is seriously, unfortunately, on the decline here in our country, because the government don't really have a clue in terms of diversifying and growing the economy. But I will probably deal with that another time. But the agriculture is very, very, very important, because if one farmer maybe hire 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 people, you're not going to have all the folks in agriculture going to be on the same level, right? Some going to be far more established than others. But you have to start somewhere. The National Bank started very small. The TDC, the Hosford, the Development Bank, the Bank of Nevis, OTI, which started around 1969 with just about 6 rooms, and the former owner and manager, continued to develop and develop and develop until it was really one of the premier hotel in the Federation, and would have made a tremendous
I've stayed there a few
contribution.
times. So.
I've
stayed there a few times.
It was pure class. I would have worked there, and I had my good times in the hotel industry, which we know is the #1 industry in the world, and do a lot, especially in the Caribbean, in terms of the economies of our countries. Tourism really, really is the thing, and that is something that the government have to look at in terms of what they offer to the general public. But as I continue in terms of the dieting, and probably maybe wrapped up and give somebody else a chance, I really was waiting to hear the prayer and the ladies who come in and do their thing, which is very, very important. But they thought, and I haven't heard them this evening. But I say, since you're talking all the time.
When we went. I guess we had the folks from health, and they stayed quite a while. And the health and the prayer and so on was coming kind of early. So.
Well, the prayer should come in after the line is open.
Yeah.
So even if you have a panel or somebody, on the program, because these things will happen at times, then when the line is open, then that should be the first thing. The prayer, the thoughts, very, very important.
You know that these are all voluntary. So these are folks who call in, of their own accord and do these things.
Right.
I mean, we really appreciate them, but we know they're not going to be there every single time. So, but we appreciate every time they do it. One thing I can say when it comes to me, you can't expect something every time, but when it does happen, you really appreciate it, and that's how I am,
Well, I realize that time moves so fast. Sometimes you got fun. When you got fun, as they say, you don't got to run.
Yes, of course.
But I just want to say that I am, to be honest, not really happy in terms of the direction our nation is heading and has gone in the last 2, perhaps and a half years. There are so many different issues that we are serious issues in the country. A dying economy, not much opportunities, many persons losing their jobs, their businesses. I mean, you name it. But
how you feel about the new seatbelt laws?
Opportunity to expound and these things and go into, because I know the government would have mentioned in reference, for instance, $250 dollars, and there is a lot of things that I really have to speak in reference to this particular position, because if you're going to pay somebody for 6 months, it seems like maybe life will get better after 6 months, and they will have enough money to sustain themselves after 6 months. So only 6 months you can help somebody because they have no need after 6 months, and that doesn't really make a lot of sense.
Well, maybe he's not thinking about it in the sense that you're it's a subsidy, so it's not something that has to be given, but it's something that is given to show appreciation.
Well, what is showing even more appreciation because of the cost of living? Yes, inflation, and a lot of it is imported, but it depends and a lot of different things, because when you have issues, what is the issue is how you deal with the issue. That is what is most important, because you could have an issue, which in many cases, and most cases, there will always be issues. But as I said, how you deal with the issue is what is important. How you manage the economy is what is important. And it's about growth. It's about development. It's about advancement. It's about opportunities. And in a lot of cases, in government make wrong decisions, wrong policies, and different things, and so it creates not the best of opportunities. And imagine we had COVID. Right now, things are worse than when we had COVID. And you had a crisis in the country, which we had no control over. And things were better. The only nation in the world I know paid 4 double salaries, for instance. 4 double salaries in a crisis. Now, they can't even get one. They're giving all kind of excuse, all kind of this. But in the first year, when the government had changed, imagine the Prime Minister announced on his birthday, November 22nd, a double salary, because the money was allocated in the treasury to pay double salary that year. That year. We don't accustomed to get a double salary in November, but he met the money there. The economy was strong. And then the next year, people waiting not only November, December, and then he gave 1.5. Now is none. So we're going from bad to worse, and that is the really. They say when you vote us in, it's gonna be better with Labour. Well, unfortunately and honestly, it is bitter under Labour. But
So
I would think I would leave
So
it
that
here,
bitter, you're right, Manal.
which is no crime. But it's always good, as I said, to have a laugh, to have fun.
Well, you know, that's your opinion, and one thing I will say is that one of the good things about St. Kitts and Nevis, and one of the good things about democracy, is that everybody has a right, to express their opinion, especially on these type of things, and what they think about government and so on. I am not one who subscribes to trying to silence anybody. I think we let everybody be heard, and then the body politic, the public as a whole, would make a choice based on all of the different things that they hear. And I'm not one who believe in suppressing speech. There's some people out there, and the minute you say one thing bad about them, they try to silence you, they try to shut you up because you're saying something bad. I don't subscribe to that.
Well,
I let my work speak for me, and I let the people talk.
Yeah, as I wrapped up, which you rightfully said, the over 7 billion people in the world have a right to have an opinion. But not every opinion is right.
But that is true.
And that is what, and you will not get every single person. That is why you have election, and everybody don't vote for the same party.
Exactly.
Because you have different people who see things
but
differently.
Also remember though that is not in every country that people have the right to vote. It's not in every country that people have the freedom to vote. It's not in every country that people enjoy freedom of speech and freedom of conscience like the way they enjoy it in a place like St. Kitts and Nevis, and that is something that we really ought to be thankful about. I certainly don't take it for granted.
No, I think it's very, very important to have dialogue, and national dialogue, because I think a lot more need to be discussed really officially in terms of sports, education, and health. because a healthy nation is a wealthy nation. And that is why I come back to speak about the agriculture which need to develop. More things definitely need to be done here, because what is done here, produced here, especially by our own people, because I am not aware of any serious agriculture person who isn't from somewhere else. And even if they're from somewhere else, they live here, this is where for instance, you're not going to really have an investor who come in to plant yam and pumpkin and dashing and whatever, right? Which are things that we were born to eat. Food that heal you, sweet potato.
Carla, these are things that we could do for ourselves. But Carla, we're gonna have to leave it there because we're coming up on the 9 o'clock hour.
We'll continue the discussion and the dialogue another time. So may God bless you and may God bless this proud federation of thinkers and leaders that I love.
You have a wonderful
You
night.
take care.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to On the Mark. I would have given the caller a long run because the phones were not ringing off as they normally do. You see, it's good to have technology because somebody would have sent me a WhatsApp, and when I spoke about the condolences earlier, I neglected to mention Mr. Edison Fitzroy Warner, and Fitzroy was a good friend of mine. Fitzroy is somebody who is well known around Nevis, well known around St. Kitts and Nevis, well known in Anguilla, and I think this is the first time I'm on the show since Fitzroy would have passed away, and certainly it was a big oversight, not to mention Fitzroy. We've gotten along well for many years. We've also had our battles because I think if anybody knows Fitzroy, Fitzroy is not one to back down from anything, and he's gonna talk. That's one thing, he's gonna really talk, and he's normally at the barbershop with us. That was a regular thing for us weekly. We would have our conversations and so on, and so I want to send our condolences to his entire family as something that I would have neglected at the top of the show. I think we are right down on the 10 o'clock hour now. Ladies and gentlemen, this was a wonderful show. It's good to be back on the show. Certainly, if you didn't catch the show tonight, it's going to be replayed tomorrow at 1 p.m. in the afternoon, 1 p.m. And it's always good to come out and have that interaction with the general public. I had a few topics here also written down. It's always good to come out here and talk, but sometimes we want to also get what the public is thinking, get what is important to the public. It's all well and good for us to come with our own topics and so on, but it's also good to hear what the public has. Of course, it's sports term, I think that's what I want to talk about a lot. It's sports term. I want the public to come out and support the young people. Let them see you at sports. Let the children see you. If you're parents, if you're auntie and uncle and cousin, come out and let them see you. They're going to run better when they see you. And being good in sports and being around sports and participating in sports, it's just one of the facets that prepare them for life in general. So let's give them as much support as we can in sports and in everything else that they're doing. That's the show for tonight. Have a wonderful night. It was great being here.
The views and opinions expressed on the preceding program were solely those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Nevis Broadcasting Company Limited or its